If the faculty of choice does not constitute the perfection, but endangers the exercise of free will in man, if in this faculty originated man's prevarication and fall, if in it rests the mystery of sin, of condemnation and death, how can we reconcile with the infinite goodness of God this fatal gift, which is the source of our misfortunes and calamities? Shall we regard the hand that bestows it as compassionate or rigorous? If it is laid upon us in anger, why were we created? Why inflict upon us a burden so heavy, if this hand is merciful? Shall we call it just, or only strong? If it is just, what have we done previously to our creation to be thus punished? If, in using this gift we have received, we have committed sin, who is the author of our sin? If we are lost on account of the transgressions which this faculty inclines us to commit, who is the cause of our condemnation and our punishment? What an inconceivable madness and inexplicable aberration for man, who is the work of God, to summon before his tribunal that same God who grants him the very tribunal on which he sits as arbiter, the reason with which he judges, and even the voice with which he calls upon God. Thus man falls from blasphemy to blasphemy, from abyss to abyss. The blasphemer who summons constitutes himself the judge to condemn or absolve, but the man who absolves or condemns in place of adoring God blasphemes. Woe to the arrogant who interrogate him, and happy are the humble who adore him, for he will come both to the one and to the other, to the one as summoned in the day of judgment, and to the other as adored in the day of adoration. He will respond to all who call upon him, to the ones in wrath, to the ones in mercy. Let it not be said that this doctrine is an absurdity, involving the denial of the competency of human reason to understand the things of God, and thereby implicitly condemns the theologians and holy doctors, and even the very church, that have in past ages so fully discussed and investigated these questions. What this doctrine denies is the capacity of reason, unenlightened by faith, to understand the truths of revelation and faith, insofar as they are supernatural. Let those who ask why this tremendous gift has been bestowed of choosing between good and evil, sanctity and sin, life and death, deny its existence but for a moment, and in this very moment they render altogether impossible the separate creations of angels and men. If in this faculty of choice lies the imperfection of liberty, you have but to take away this power, and you remove the only obstacle to entire freedom. And when this is effected, there would exist a simultaneous perfection of the will and the understanding. This perfection is in God, but if we likewise place it in the creature, God and the creature are then one and the same. All is God, or nothing is God. And in this way we fall into pantheism, or into atheism, which is the same thing expressed under another name. Imperfection is a condition so natural to the creature, and perfection is so natural to God, that we cannot deny either the one or the other without an incongruity of terms, a real contradiction, and an evident absurdity. Catholicism affirms of God that he is absolutely perfect, and of created beings that they have a relative perfection and an absolute imperfection, and that they are perfect and imperfect in so excellent a manner that their absolute imperfection, by which they are infinitely separated from God, constitutes their relative perfection, by which they perfectly fulfill their different functions, and in this way form the perfect harmony of the universe. Intelligent and free beings are disposed in hierarchies, and consequently they are hierarchically imperfect. The angel only differs from man in that the imperfection which is common to them both is greater in the man and less in the angel, as is suitable to their different positions in the immense scale of existences. They were both, in the beginning, endowed by their Creator with the faculty of understanding and the power to will evil, and to perform that which they understood, and in this was their resemblance. God saw, before the beginning of things, the beauty and fitness of hierarchies, and therefore established them between free and intelligent existences. On the other hand, he saw, from eternity, the beauty and fitness of a certain manner of equality among all his creatures, and therefore the sovereign artificer so adjusted all things as to unite this beauty of equality to the beauty of the hierarchy. In order to form this hierarchy, God made the existences he had created unequal in their faculties, and in order to fulfill the law of equality, he required more of those to whom he gave more, and less to those to whom he gave less. Because the natural excellence of the angel was so great, his fall was without hope or remedy, his punishment instantaneous, and his condemnation eternal. Because the natural goodness of man was less, when he fell he was raised again, and his prevarication was not without a remedy. Therefore the sentence passed upon him will not be without appeal, nor will his condemnation be irredeemable, until, through repeated acts of sin, his guilt reaches that point alone known to God, where the angelical and human prevarication have an equal weight in the divine balance, so that no man may say to God, "Why didst thou not create me angel?" Nor may the angel say, "Why didst thou not make me man?" In effect, if every created being is imperfect simply because he is a creature, and if the power to lose oneself constitutes the especial imperfection of man, he therefore who asks this question asks in substance why he is a creature, or, what is its equivalent, why the creature is not the creator, why man is not the God who created man. And if this question simply means why we are not saved in spite of the power to lose ourselves, the absurdity is still greater, because why should the power to lose oneself be given if no one can be lost? If man was to be saved in spite of everything, what would be the final use of life and time? Why not, from the beginning, lead an immortal life in paradise? If man were destined to pass, without any transition, out of nothingness into eternity, and from the moment of his creation lead a glorified life, time, space, and the entire creation made for man, who is its king, would be annihilated. If his kingdom was not to be of this world, why create this world? If it was not to be temporal, why does time exist? If it was not to be local, why create space? And without time and space, why were things created in time and space? Man cannot substitute a human for a divine idea without causing the immediate destruction of the entire plan of creation and being himself crushed beneath its gigantic ruins.